Ross Ulbricht is serving a double life sentence without parole for all nonviolent charges for creating a website. Please help free this peaceful man. Go to freeross.org and sign and share the petition.
So it's little wonder that smart shoppers everywhere take time out to pause and refresh. And where else but in the fountain where they serve ice-cold Coca-Cola?
The eMilitia Podcast, Episode 42, Drew Hopkinth, Guns, Politics and Burgers. Enjoy, fuckers.
Okay, good evening, everybody. Coming at you with a new eMilitia Podcast episode, a guest episode, introducing, for the first time, Drew Hopkins, but right now it's Hopkinth.
How's it going?
Thank you. All right, also we have Gramps, the guest, me, we have Miss Buckles, Reb, and Rezi, and we're going to talk about why Drew deserves a guest spot on our podcast.
So take it away, Drew.
Yeah, why don't you tell us where you started from, how you're a statist, and how you came out of it.
First, an immense pressure, and then light like I had never seen before, my father biting the umbilical cord.
Yeah, so I'm going to start about 18 years after that. I really started, I've always kind of been right-leaning, grew up in a conservative Christian family. And ever since senior year of high school, when I took AP Econ, luckily I had a good professor for that, very Austrian-minded. I just kind of always had a feeling that the free market was better at just about everything than the government was. But it's only been in the past about year or so that I've started really applying that across the board in both political and social views. So voted for Trump in 2016, mainly just because, I was of the mindset that, if I threw away my vote and voted for the Libertarian Party or whatever, that it would be a vote for Hillary, which, of course, growing up in my kind of family, that's a big no-no. And then...
Gross.
Yeah. And then just really started to see how, ineffective and corrupt the Republican Party was with Trump and the bump stock ban, and then Dan Crenshaw and his red flag laws stuff. Yeah.
So you're recent then.
Yeah. Well,
you're post-Trump election.
You're a recent. Yeah. I was 18 when Trump was elected. I had just always grown up thinking, watching Fox News.
For the people that suck at math, that means you're how old now?
I'm 22 now, or will be 22 this summer.
Wow, you're also a baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, youngin'. I didn't nursery edition.
Yep. And so we're kind of always followed, right of center pages. It didn't really matter whether it was whiskey or even just the more traditional conservative Turning Point or YAF. Went to YAF conferences in high school. So always kind of grew up in the more free market tradition. But really this last year, I made a quick change from kind of conservatarian, whatever, the not neocon, but not libertarian. And then very quickly went to minarchist, and then now full voluntarist, ANCAP, agorist. Really, that whole turn especially becoming a voluntarist in ANCAP happened right around when Trigi actually went on your guys' podcast. So yeah, that's where I'm at now, and really starting to read a lot more, listen to more audiobooks that kind of help me understand. So just finished Anatomy of the State, and I'm in the middle of Spontaneous Order, and then I'm going to read The State in the Third Millennium, which is a book by the current Prince of Liechtenstein, who said that the government should be changed into, blanking on the direct quote, but it was something along the lines of the government should be changed into companies that serve people as consumers, which I thought was a really interesting take.
Wonderful. So what's your, well, first of all, why don't you plug your meme page and give us that at?
Yeah, it is
handle.
At Drew Hopkinth. Yeah, it's been going on for since last July. It's the first page that I've had in this kind of field. Complete newbie. Haven't been zucked yet, but expecting it any day now.
Any day now, yeah. I mean, you know, when you're out there, you understand the risks. It happened to Rezzy's brother.
Rip.
Yeah, back when Hangam was still alive. They killed him, though.
Killed him bad. It was brutal.
Yeah, you sling some mean memes there, Drew.
I don't even know.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I follow you, bro. Let me check this out right now. Drew Hopkins.
What do you mean? Yeah, basically all I know is that
the content's there, bro.
I first saw your page. Like when you type in Drew Hopkins, your page comes up before Drew Hopkins' page. So
That's
I
hilarious.
followed that quick because I was just looking to follow Drew Hopkins, and then like after a while I realized I'm like, wait, I'm pretty sure this is not his page. And then I had to type it in all the way, and then I found out, yeah, there's an actual real page out there, and then I was like, maybe this is his his fun page though.
These are good, man.
Yeah,
These are high quality.
Thank you. I've had a lot of people actually think that I was Drew. Scalarworks and Mod Light both offered to send me new products.
Yeah.
And being the good Christian boy that I am, said, I'm not the real Drew. They didn't offer again.
Yeah.
Well, I started following you because of your memes, and then realized that it was kind of like a parody account. Not even a parody account, but you were using a spin on his name. And I saw all the people making the confusing, because I didn't know. I still really don't know who that actual guy is.
Same.
Wow, you're more famous than the real Drew Hopkins, bro.
I'll take that as a credit. Yeah. Here's all that matters, though.
Bro, I was... Yeah, keep going, sorry. I was just so excited to drill the other Drew Hopkins, though. Because I heard Lucas talking about how he was giving free instruction to cops the other day, and it fucking really ground my gears.
Yeah, that's one place where Lucas and I differ on our political beliefs. Yeah, but I memed a couple shooting instructors way back when I started the page, and they all came out of the woodworks, just threatening me, everything, and because they thought I was the real Drew. Yeah. And then I sent them a video that I had posted of myself at the shooting range. Before that,
Doxed yourself?
I had posted photos of myself on this page and videos of myself, but wearing a hat or just in a way that people can't really see my face. But they were it was so funny just to see them all think that I was the real Drew and come after me. I haven't had that happen since, but I'm looking forward to the day it does.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm not in the gun culture, so I don't even know who Drew Hopkins is. But I followed you through the ATF convenience.
Yeah. I've actually had a chance to go shoot with the guy that runs ATF convenience store.
Yeah, Mitch.
Yeah, I competed at Desert Brutality, which is, for those of you who don't know, it's a big 2-gun match, so rifle and pistol down in Arizona. And he was one of the range officers there. And he's not a FUD, no FUD range officers at that competition, which is good.
Those are hard to find.
Really? Yeah, I don't even believe you.
It's because all the people that were range officers had to also compete at the staff match.
No, you can't shoot more often than one round every 2 seconds kind of guy. Or is he like the mag dumps are cool kind of guy?
He's the mag dumps are cool kind of guy.
Mag dumps are cool kind of guy. Yeah.
Yeah, he let a buddy of mine. I think this is how my buddy got it. But for the match, my buddy ran an M249 through the entire thing, like an actual post sample light machine gun.
That's awesome.
So yeah, they don't care.
That's funny.
Yeah, you kind of.
How did he shoot?
He did well. I don't think he did as well as he could because
he was shooting a fucking
a 25, 30 pound gun but he had fun.
I mean, an AR could be 30 pounds if you put enough cool shit on it.
Or dumb shit. Or enough Tapco.
Or dumb shit, yeah. I want to find a dildo bayonet. So if anybody knows where I can find one of those.
You could just make one yourself, bro.
Yeah,
I'm sure Control Pew would be happy to help you.
I think he's got one.
I don't want it to be like
I thought that was a foregrip.
hard plastic. I want it to be like rubber, like a legit dildo.
Well, go
You just
go to
make
fucking,
one.
Go to the Lions.
Oh, and make a dildo.
Buy you a fucking dildo, and then
Buy a dildo.
It, dude.
And then make the bracket that's your fucking AR.
A Picatinny rail to it, and fucking you're done, bro.
Okay.
Or just one of those like worm screw pipe clamps. That would
No. It needs to look legit. It needs to look professional.
Yeah, it does need to be legit.
Although worm clamps are good for like flashlights and shit.
That'd be sweet if you squeezed the dildo.
But not dildos.
It made like a honking noise.
That'd be cool too, man.
It would be good. See, that's professional.
Use the balls and it's like honk, honk.
Dildo bike horn?
Yeah.
Hey, Drew, could you engineer us a dildo bike horn?
I'll see what I can do.
I can promise you one sale.
And flashlight.
You already have 2 commitments to the dildo Hong Kong.
Oh man, I'm fucked up. All right.
Looking at dildos.
Drew.
What would you say your biggest influence in being red pilled?
Answer that first, and then I have a much more important question.
My biggest influence, I think that there's probably 2 for me. The first one was my high school econ teacher, just because since I studied engineering, I like looking at things in terms of kind of hard math, and the fact him walking me through like deadweight loss and all the economic theory and equations that show government action, whether it's a price control or a tariff or something like that, it always results in a net loss to consumers. That was super helpful for me to kind of understand the economic side, and then understanding kind of the more social side of it. I don't know. I really kind of started reading a lot, and so the books that influenced me the most were probably Hayek, Road to Serfdom, and then just like kind of going through the old Enlightenment philosophers. But in the Instagram community, it was definitely Whiskey, just because his posts were, concise, but kind of carried a lot of information behind them.
Okay, so much more importantly, what is your opinion on pineapple on pizza? Answer carefully.
Yeah,
don't fuck this one up.
I'm going to kick you out of this group chat if
Craig
you
will be gone like so quick.
Yeah.
My opinion is your opinion.
No,
that's wrong answer.
No. We're a little smarter than that.
You could have given.
So diplomatic.
Fucking normie conformist, bro.
They just bought you like 5 seconds.
I mean, I don't hate it, but it's not my go-to.
Okay. All right. What's your opinion on bacon on burgers?
Hell yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I grew up in Southern California, and so it's always been bacon and like egg barbecue sauce on burgers for me.
What the fuck?
Wait, you
No,
guys
that's
don't do
cool.
bacon on your burgers?
Dude, a good burger does.
Guns is against it, aren't you?
Yeah, I don't like
Why?
bacon on a burger, but I understand that's
Fucking
kind of
weirdo.
it's like
It's so
just
good.
enough, like just enough of an irregularity to be like an unpopular opinion. But I just think that because bacon is like really identifiable, like in any dish that it's in, you know, like you can taste bacon, right? And I just feel like I feel a similar way about too much mustard on anything. It's just like when you bite a burger that has bacon on it, I feel like the bacon really just distracts from what
Overpowers
could
the
be a
burger.
perfect burger.
Yeah, I'm total. Dude, you're not in a minority in this. Like,
Yeah, I agree with Guns actually.
yeah.
I don't
What?
like
Oh
bacon
my
on my
God.
burgers.
To me, if a burger if it needs bacon, it wasn't a good burger to begin
Yeah,
with.
man. Like I feel like
Well,
I
bacon is
agree,
No,
but
no,
it
no,
will
no, no.
always
I
make the
don't
burger
say
better.
no. I just
people
take
who
it
put
off.
bacon
and
on
eat
their
it.
burger don't have faith in their burger.
One exception. The
Baconator.
But if it includes onion rings, because that's something that also is strong
Yeah.
and overpowered.
This is how you do a burger. Regular burger, cheese, bacon, onion rings, and smothered in barbecue sauce.
Yeah, that
Deal.
sounds delicious.
I agree with that.
Yellow mustard.
Sure, why not?
But yes, you're correct.
But
Mustard-
like,
But that's
Mustard's
the only
really
time I like
good.
bacon on my burger is if it has onion rings and cheddar cheese, or like a smoke.
Yeah,
like
I mean, if you go like all in, it's not going to be bad,
Well, exactly.
you know. But like, I just feel like if you're going minimalist,
There's a place
I
up in.
agree.
well, if
That's how
you're
I feel
going
about steak
minimalist,
sauce.
who's cooking
Like-
a burger and bacon?
If you need steak sauce,
I don't fucking know.
then your steak sucks.
agreed.
But steak
So-
sauce is good on a burger.
Right.
Like,
Yes.
yeah. If you have to
Especially
use
with
steak
onion
sauce,
straws.
the only time you use steak sauce on steak is if you go to a cheap diner and get steak and eggs. It's
Yes.
crap steak.
Yeah.
And
All right,
A1
there's a-
is so good on your hash browns, bro.
Oh,
With
yeah.
with
Oh,
the
yeah.
yolk, with the egg yolk.
There's a local pub, and it's got this burger. It's like one of the best burgers I've had at a restaurant. The best burger I've ever eaten was made by myself, and I did not put bacon on it. But there's this local pub, and they make a burger that has pimento cheese,
No.
the burger, fried green tomatoes, gravy, and then that's it. Yeah. Oh, and
If
cheese.
you guys ever come up to Oregon, you got to come to this place called Tilt.
Why would I go to Oregon?
Good burgers, and the surf's pretty good.
Now,
And
is
all the
it,
girls wear
now when you say it's a good
raccoon
burger,
tails.
is it
Oh,
like a big fat
okay.
burger that you can get cooked to fucking temperature?
Medium, yeah, medium rare.
Because like my favorite burger, you get cooked to temperature. Other people are like, no, you get this little one that's fried up and it's just burnt.
Oh, bro, if you don't take a temperature, I retract my order. If I order a burger out and like they don't ask me like a temp, I'm like, nah, never mind. Never.
Yeah, you're like, you know what? Just give me the fucking Reuben or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give me
No,
the
these guys
fucking-
cook to temperature. But it's chuck patty, onion rings, like the thin, crispy onion rings, jalapeno slaw, brisket, bacon, and sharp cheddar.
Ooh. Oh, that's
Sounds good.
See, you don't need the bacon and the brisket. Did you say bacon too?
You
Yeah.
can't complain about it.
Brisket's
Yeah,
so
it's
fire,
already
though.
there.
Well,
Fuck
if
the
you want to
burger
talk,
at that point, just give me the brisket.
my favorite burger, a local place has Ohio raised beef, and then it's a black and blue burger with spinach, and they call them tobacco onions, which some people call them onion straws, just like the tiny little fucking real thin fried up onions on it, and then it has a horseradish sauce.
Yeah. Well, hold on. Is it mayo based or sour cream based or yogurt? Because if it's mayo based, I'm out. But if that shit's fucking yogurt based, I'm
No, it's just
Right
like
back.
straight. It's kind of like straight horseradish more than
Oh, okay.
like it's not like a yeah. It's
That
good.
sounds pretty good.
Yeah, that sounds pretty legit, dude.
I haven't had dinner yet. You guys are making me hungry.
Right.
Horseradish is pretty
Pretty
intense.
DR to help keep us on like the topic.
Oh, I know.
There's
Totally.
a place my way that does one. They call it a trucker burger, and it's got peanut butter and grape jelly on it.
Nope.
But it's fire. I'm telling. I thought the same thing. It's on like Texas toast with fucking.
No, I hear those are good.
And grape
I hear,
jelly,
but I refuse.
And mushrooms. I'm telling you, it's ridiculous.
And mushrooms?
Good. Yeah.
Yeah, you lost me at the mushrooms.
Well,
Yeah.
No, you lost me at the fucking jelly. What the hell?
Yeah.
Dude, it's fire.
I'll try it, dude. I'll try anything once.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unless you really object, and then you do it again once.
So, Drew,
Yeah.
have you found your? First of all, do you regret this yet?
Oh no, definitely not.
Okay. Have you found your niche yet?
My niche, like,
Yeah.
in what sphere? Like professionally or just
Like in the
memes?
ecosystem.
I think what I've been trying to do more lately, and it seems to be resonating with people just based off of engagement and all that stuff, is just trying to talk a little bit more about like the econ of stuff through memes. So one of the posts that really blew up a couple weeks ago is when a bunch of people in more the boogaloo side, not so much like actually liberty, but just they say that they're boog boys and that's it. Is price controls, and with cheaper than dirt, price gouging or whatever people call it. Just like I saw a ton of people saying, the government's evil. It just killed Duncan Lemp, but we can trust them with, the prices of goods.
Yeah.
That just seemed really odd to me.
People who use the term price gouging generally don't have a solid understanding of economics.
Yeah, it's just like raising price to meet the demand and lowered supply.
Yeah, exactly. That's how it works.
Like, I got in so many arguments with people. I'm like, dude, supply and demand.
Yeah,
Everyone uses that term. I've heard all different people of all different ideas of economics say that. But then when you're like, okay, so like if demand goes up and supply goes down, the price should go up. Well, no, people got to eat. So you just take everything away, and it's like I can't even talk to you anymore, dude. Like,
I think the only example of that like ever triggered me or like made me think about it from a different perspective was when that fucking doofus bought up all the fucking AIDS medication patents and like raised the price of it by like 700% or some
well,
shit.
see,
like
that's not a price gouging thing. That's a patent thing.
Yeah, it's taking advantage of the bad IP stuff.
Yeah, that's the problem with that, because those are the laws that allowed him to buy it and no one else to do it. And price gouging is when your neighbor can sell toilet paper cheaper than you.
I guess you're right. So anything that's patented basically goes against the free market, is what you're saying?
Yeah, totally.
Like even if they're only for a certain period of time.
Yes, 100%. Once an idea is not a tangible thing that you can hold in your hand. Like, imagine if they had a patent on the wheel and only one person could do the wheel. Or imagine Henry Ford invented the assembly line. Imagine if like the idea of the assembly line was patented at the time and no one else could do an assembly line but Henry Ford. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, an idea, once you put it out there, you can keep it to yourself.
But they don't generally issue patents on ideas. Like, you have to have like a proven concept, or like
Henry Ford didn't have a proven concept of the assembly line.
No, but I think it has to be still like a marketable good. It has to be like a good, like they won't issue you a patent on something like the assembly line.
Okay, what about the wheel? What about the wheel?
I'm sure they would. I'm sure by like the standards of a patent, the wheel would have applied, but again, they expire. And I'm not.
Gramps, are you defending the concept of intellectual property?
I'm just, somewhat to a certain extent, because I do believe in property rights, and I do believe that it probably does extend in a certain extent to intellectual property.
I struggled with that for a while, and it doesn't. Like you have the ability to not share your idea with people, and that's fine. And then maybe the idea doesn't go anywhere. But with the free market, like once the idea goes out there, you might have had the great idea, but that doesn't mean you can market it the best. And the free market dictates that whoever can make that product the cheapest and sell it, or whatever through advertising, like.
Yes and no. So oftentimes what that would do would present a situation where whoever had the most amount of capital to throw at it would ultimately dominate those markets.
Well, what we have now in a system is that large corporations just wait for small guys to come up with an idea, and then they tie them up with legal shit.
Yes,
and then they steal their patent, and then they have a monopoly on it. So that's not any better than saying that. The second you say that, okay, well, these people can have ideas and no one else is allowed to use them, then you create a bureaucracy that you have
I think the only way that that's possible is if you are entering like a consensual contract. Like, I'm going to share this information with you under the terms that this information does not get shared.
Okay, my question is, without a government, how would you enforce patent laws?
I guess individually, maybe.
Without a government, you'll still have arbitration systems. You could still technically sue them for essentially stealing your intellectual property in a way. I mean,
yeah, but no, that wouldn't work out.
Well, like, I think it depends. I think it ultimately depends on what you're producing and how and what that commodity or what that property is.
And it also depends on the nature by which the intellectual property was taken. If it was taken through corporate espionage, then that's suable. But if it's
consensually and covered under non-disclosure agreements and licensing agreements, then that's a completely different story. Because that was a consensually agreed upon term for the exchange of the information.
If you hire somebody and you have them sign a contract that says they won't say anything to anyone else, and you find out that they do, then you have a case against them.
Yes.
But you can't have a case against the other company because it's an idea.
I agree.
And you can't tell someone else that they can't take your idea and try to make it better or try to make it more profitable. Like, yes, if you have a company and like with espionage, like, but if you hire someone in and they take your secret, that's kind of on you. Like if you make them sign a contract and they violate that contract, then yes, you have a fair claim. But if that contract isn't signed for an employee and they go out and spout something out that you've been researching forever, you should add better security.
Well, and there was some. Well, hold on. Well, let me present another scenario to you. Now, you're a business owner. You own a business where you're developing. You're developing something. You're paying your employees to come in and work a wage. You're paying them a wage to come in and work and continue developing this idea. You don't believe that in some way, shape, or form, like you're entitled to that property versus like the employees who you're paying the whole time.
Okay, well, in your situation, if you have to employ that many people to create an idea, it would be very hard for one person to take that idea and then produce it themselves, and it would be more profitable for them to continue to work for you. So,
no, I guess like maybe, but I'm thinking like pharmaceutical industries and like think about like the way that universities and those types of entities act in these situations where they have students that are making these discoveries, PAs, professors, etc., but they own the intellectual property because ultimately it was their dollars, their support system, their infrastructure that was.
Well, here, all right, in a pharmaceutical thing, you want to create a new drug.
So sorry, dude. Yeah, I guess you're right. Sorry.
No, you're good. I'm interested to see this because I haven't thought as much into it, and it's interesting to hear the two perspectives on it. But one of the things that I do remember very vividly from both talking about intellectual property, but then also it kind of applies to a lot of areas where there are barriers to entry that people will pay for. So like through lobbying the government or whatever, it's that the money that you save by having those barriers to entry placed is equivalent to the money that you pay to get those barriers to entry put up. So you actually don't save any money by like getting a patent, because economically, I can't exactly remember how, but it just ends up working out in this. It works out in the end. And that was shown with more recently with price controls on gas stations in the 1970s. So I guess not super recently, but a couple of researchers looked at the amount of time that people spent waiting in gas lines that were caused by the shortages and price controls. And the amount of time that they spent in those lines ended up costing the people, I think, 4 cents more per gallon than if the prices were just allowed to
How did they
fluctuate.
That?
Deadweight loss, like they calculated the loss from the time that the people ended up spending more in the lines, and just looking at a wage, like an hourly wage scenario. And then also, assuming that if they weren't in the line, then they would be spending that time working or doing something of economic value. And then also they looked at the fact that when people are forced to wait in longer lines to buy an item, they end up purchasing more of that item than they need so they can stockpile for later. So people would end up spending more money at the pump and putting it into jerry cans or whatever, so they wouldn't have to wait in that line later. I can send you guys the study on it. It was really interesting, but I had to skim past all the math because I didn't really understand it.
I'll tell you what, you send that to us, and if BR actually does show notes, we'll make him put it up.
Cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, my last paper of college was on the ethics of government intervention in the economy and focusing on price controls, which if I just look through my sources, I'll be able to find that study for you guys.
Fuck yeah. I'd like to read it.
So would I.
Cool, man. All right, so let's find something interesting to talk about, because this is boring as fuck.
Econ usually is.
Econ's awesome.
It is,
so.
but
Yeah, I was gonna say there's at least half of our listeners are geeking out on this conversation.
Yeah, this is awesome.
It's true.
Geeking out as in this is cool, or geeking out as in like just
like
the out part?
Heck yeah, Doug.
They're nerding
Talk
out
about
on it, bro.
that nitty gritty economic stuff that most people don't
Dude,
hear.
economics are so nitty gritty, bro. I have such a visceral reaction to talking
You
about
have no
economics.
idea.
No idea how big my wiener is right now.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
No one thinks it's a big deal until they're ignorant of it, and then
Yeah, that's my thing. Is I had a professor in college who he was basically an econ class, and he was a lot more of the Austrian side too, and it was crazy. The things that I learned, that sent me, because I was kind of like anti-government-ish before, that sent me down the rabbit hole on like all sides. So it does make a difference.
Econ is, I mean, it just explains how people interact with each other. And so I think that's the biggest thing, that if you can say for certain that if there's no government, people would be better off, it's a lot easier to get people to pay attention to what you have to say, I think.
Yeah, take that, guns.
Nerd. Sorry, I was distracted. What? It's just so boring. I was distracted.
no, they actually broke it down pretty nicely.
No, I mean, economics is like, it definitely, I mean, obviously it has its place in all of our ideologies, and it's very interesting. Just not right now.
Yeah, it is a bit too late.
all right, well then let's talk about guns.
Yeah, guns.
Yeah.
I'm down.
I love talking about me. What do you
What's
wanna know?
hot?
Not
What's
you.
hot?
Q guns.
Oh, okay.
Where are you at in the 3D printed part of it? Like, we want the whole spiel.
Yeah, what you print now, bro?
Guns.
Yeah. Well, I
Tell
think
us as much
just-
information about you as possible.
Well, if you guys have been following me for at least since February, I
actually followed you like 20 minutes ago.
Cool. Glad to have you. I have been just kind of geeking out on some of the stuff that got released this year at the big firearms conventions because they actually released cool stuff, not just another thin blue line Punisher black like plate for the Glock or whatever. So there's a lot of cool stuff new with pistols and red dots. The Laugo Alien, which is one of them. But yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff on the horizon for that. But then also, if you guys watch Brandon Herrera at all, he just reviewed the Plastikov, which is just further proof like 3D printing has made gun control irrelevant.
Exactly. Yeah, that's my argument. Like anytime I get into it with like a family member or a friend or anything, and they're like, I just feel like there should be a limit, or like I just feel like even if it's like the like almost as good as it gets ideology for a statist, as in like I just feel like there should be like background checks or something like that. I'm like, dude, like you don't understand. Like we're past that. It doesn't matter. If somebody wants something, they can literally just like put a program into a printer and make it. Just like in their walk-in closet. Their walk-in closet becomes a gun manufacturing center. And that's what we need to understand here so that we can cut through all the bullshit and stop acting like any legislation is going to stop the bad people from getting something. Because if the bad people can get it now, before all this technology became accessible to the average person, then the bad people can definitely get it as it becomes easier.
Oh yeah,
like it becomes easier and easier for the average person to get it.
Yeah, I mean it's $200 for a good entry-level 3D printer, and then 15 cents for the filament to print with, and you've got the registered part of any firearm out there.
Do you want to say hey to my sister?
What up, Guns' sister?
Hi, sister.
Hi.
Say hey.
Hey.
This is Sister Guns and Guillotines. She doesn't agree with me politically.
Oh, that's a shame.
Boo.
Boo.
Boo on
Step
her.
in the chat, guys.
Wait, there's so many people on
your
this.
brother's pretty based.
Who's the girl?
The girl? Which one do you think is a girl? Oh, Miss Buckles?
Well, there's definitely a girl speaking.
Oh, yeah. That's Miss Buckles.
I'm proud of the representation, fellas.
Hey, she's proud of the representation, fellas.
Yay, we've made headway.
Yippee.
It's not just a boys' club. Liberty is not exclusive.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I see a lot on, or I saw on my college campus before COVID and graduation was like all the political clubs, both left and right, surprisingly, were just boys clubs. And then, but if you just like talk to the people going around minding their own business, like a lot of them are closer, both women and men were both closer right than, and not just statist right, but like libertarian right. They just want to be left alone and don't want, taxes and all that stuff.
Yeah, how selfish.
I know, they really need to think for the common good.
Pay for my welfare.
Pay for my hormone replacement surgery.
Whoa.
Pay for everything.
That's
All the things. And that's technically what's happening right now anyway. People with their unemployment, aka universal income.
Yeah, it's crazy to see how quickly the right switched from UBI is socialism to UBI is good.
Yeah.
Oh, the second they were in trouble.
Well, you got that direct deposit there on it.
Like, I don't blame anyone for taking it, because in these hard times, anything you can get your hands on, go ahead and fucking grab it. Like, going to a fountain if you
Not
got
to mention that they're just giving us a fraction of the money that they stole from us back.
Right.
A fraction of it. Yeah, so grab whatever you can, but don't claim how it's just this great thing and the government's fucking so nice to us.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Because the bottom line is if I had the $250,000 that I've paid in taxes over the last 4 or 5 years, I would happily just give them that all back. I'll trade you.
Yeah. Can I have my taxes back and I'll give you the $1,200? I haven't gotten the $1,200.
How about you just give me my taxes back?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't gotten the 1,200 either.
You know how fast I'd get an extra $1,200 if I just didn't have taxes taken out of my shit? Oh my god.
Like 3 weeks of 3 pay cycles? 2 pay cycles?
Seriously. Less than that for me.
Too. Yeah.
And if they didn't just automatically deduct it from your paycheck, if people had to manually like take money out of their bank account and
you mean
pay
if
it?
they didn't steal it? You mean if they didn't steal it from you and you actually had to pay it?
Yeah, it'd be so. It's so crazy to think how quickly people would change their opinion if it wasn't just automatically deducted.
If that's how it was, dude, I'd get in so much trouble.
Well, in other places, they call that tithing. Taxes. When you give it, like church.
Yeah, or just charity.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it. And I'd go to jail.
Yeah, who's that one dude? Who's that one dude that like basically fucking sued the IRS, or like the IRS went after him and then he beat him and they put a federal gag order on his ass?
Dude,
I think there's been a couple
speaking of that,
like that.
We can do a whole episode on that. Like his claim
And if
was
Hillary
basically
Clinton
that
ran the IRS, all them dudes would be dead.
his claim, and obviously we all recognize that taxation is theft in general in and of itself. It's like they're stealing that shit. Right. Period.
Pretty easy to come to that conclusion.
His justification was that you shouldn't be paying taxes on money that you're living off of and being spent back into the economy. Like you're paying taxes on like actual like income or savings, and like he wasn't like not paying taxes on like every dollar he earned. Like those dollars are needed, they're allotted for. Like this was actually like he was basically just saying
he's arguing for a consumption tax.
I'll pay you on my net, but I'm not going to pay you on my gross. And like arguably that wasn't good enough, but he beat them and ended up like the settlement was like he signed a gag order where he wasn't allowed to talk about it. And
damn,
yeah, dude,
call this guy.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that dude's dead now. I got a homie that knows way more about that particular scenario than me.
I have a friend whose grandfather, like old as fuck, he's like 80 now, but he's been like us for like his whole life, and he's never had a driver's license, and he has like his personal vehicle and his work vehicle, and every 45 days he switches them to like he registers them as like work and personal, so that he can get temporary plates for 45 days, and he just keeps doing that.
Nice.
He's been doing that for like 60 years.
That guy knows what's up.
Yeah, and like he gets pulled over, and like it's a small town wherever they live. But she was telling me about a time that she got pulled over in his car, and then they both ended up going to court over it because like his car was like not registered or whatever, and everybody knows him, like the judge and like the cops and shit. They all know who he is, and the judge is like, "Listen, I don't want to hear it today. Like you just gotta pay the fine, bro. Like just fucking pay the fine and get out."
Well, paying a fine's better than registration.
Hell yeah.
Like car registration is so expensive that the fine's cheaper.
Depending on what state you live in, like where
it totally depends.
Yeah,
Arizona is super cheap.
Blows.
Well, Arizona can be real expensive if you have a nice car.
The registration ain't so bad.
That's true.
I am.
Brand new.
The taxes, the fucking car taxes are.
Bro,
God, it fucked me so bad this year.
In Michigan, they charge your registration based on the estimated value of your fucking vehicle.
Oh yeah. Those are
Bro, sometimes it can be depending on what you buy and like what you're registering. It can be between like $250 to $1,000 a year for your registration, just based on the fucking value of your vehicle. Like, it's fucking bullshit.
That's how it is in Iowa.
Yeah, Ohio's a flat. Like cars are one price, and then if you have for some reason they charge you more for vans or pickup trucks, and then like if you have a commercial vehicle, they charge you a certain amount, but it doesn't go by value of the vehicle. The worst states, because they make up the value.
Yeah, and the thing is like, bro, if I crash my truck right now, my insurance company is not paying me out that kind of money.
Exactly. I couldn't sell it. I couldn't sell it on a fire sale for that, and you're fucking taxing me on an appraised value because, like, get fucked. Well, they do the same thing for property tax, though. Like, your property tax always goes up. The value of your property might not.
Yeah, no,
but your
really,
property tax always goes fucking up.
Yeah, exactly. But like, I mean, but we all accept that like your real liquid property value is usually double what the state appraised value is. You know, like, so if the SAV is X, it's usually 2X on what the retail value is and what it's going to list for. These dudes are out here whacking me for my pickup truck that it's worth $60,000, and I couldn't sell it on a fire sale next month for $40,000.
Yeah, it's the government just nickel and dime every which way they can, except instead of nickel and dime, it's usually a couple $1,000 here and there.
So, Drew.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on raccoons?
It depends on if they're stealing garbage or stealing food that I've left out on accident.
Man,
like my heart.
You can't steal garbage, man.
One man's trash is another man's trash.
It's state property.
It's always my property.
Oh shit. Drew, some of your memes are fucking gold, bro. Some of these things are great, dude.
They're high.
You need to watermark more of your shit.
Thanks, dude.
Almost all of it's watermarked.
Is everything you post OC?
Unless it's not watermarked, then it's OC. But I don't watermark like actual photography images. So like the photos that I'm putting together of my build, that's all OC. But any meme that's not watermarked is not OC. So
repurposed.
Well, these shits are fire, bro. These shits are fire.
Thank you, dude.
They are. Maybe one day you'll be where I am, Drew.
Yep. One day.
All right. Shout out to Lucas.
But your shits aren't always fire.
So
mine, no.
What are you saying?
Hold up, Drew. I'm looking at your kit here. I'm looking at a kit pitch that you posted back in January 30th.
Yeah.
Dude, did you rattle bomb your shit fucking black and yellow? Because if you did, I appreciate that.
January 30th. That was the photo of my rifle. I brushstroked it, so I actually bought interior paint in the Rhodesian colors, and I painted green, baby poop, and tan.
Oh, now I gotta go fucking look at this.
So what's in that pelly right there? It looks like a.
Can you put it on the fucking screen?
No, I don't. I'm practically a boomer.
I wasn't asking you. No, I know you can't. Yeah. I can't either, so.
I don't know how to fucking do that.
I'll screen cap it and send it in chat right now.
Perfect.
Good.
You're the man.
I just found it, I think. Finally.
Yeah. So what's
you afford so many fun stuff?
Yeah, so kit, it's in the Pelican case. It's a HK USP Radian Model 1, and then a Marine Corps bayonet that I had a buddy who was
bayonet.
Yeah, we had to carry a bayonet for the competition that we were in. In my division, we had to have a bayonet and plate carrier and all that stuff, which kind of was fun. We also had to have a liter of water on us, like a full liter of water on our plate carrier.
Oof.
And they would check if it was
Did
like
they make you
actually
carry steel, or were you rocking ceramic plates?
They had like three different ways to judge if your armor was right. It was if it's level 3 or higher, if it weighs a certain amount, or if it's military standard. So mine was level 3 or higher. It's like the HESCO special threat plates.
Okay.
Some good plates.
They're light and they aren't too expensive in the world of ceramics. So
You sent me the Reddit thread about the AR-500 steel, right?
Oh yeah,
You, right? Okay.
yeah. Those guys are actual. I'm so surprised that people even think that AR-500 is like good for the 2A when they're putting out such bad products.
Hey, most people because I was relatively new to like anything more than, I own some guns. So like once you get some more kit stuff, it's just they're the first people that you ever see when you look up armor. And so
I have
they get a lot of
Yeah.
sales and first time buyers, I think. But
I
honestly, until you sent me that thing, I had never known really why steel armor versus ceramic was a thing. Like everyone always says, steel armor sucks. I'm like, okay, give me proof, Like I don't care what you say. If you can't like actually prove it to me with something, like it doesn't matter. You're just saying it, So that was good to actually see something that kind of had more definitive stuff.
Yeah, well, I'm happy. I'm glad that I'm able to provide that kind of stuff rather than just being like the pores and steel sucks. I remember November or October of last year, I started posting more about steel armor. And I found a video of Ian from Forgotten Weapons shooting an anti-tank gun at like an inch thick piece of steel. And the spalling from that blew apart a 2x4 right next to it and launched it like 30 feet.
Ooh. An anti-tank round?
It was one of the
What do you expect?
Yeah, but it didn't penetrate the steel. And so it's like, even if it doesn't stop the round, there's still fragmentation.
Okay, but man, dude, if you get shot by an anti-tank rifle, you should just expect to die anyway.
Yeah, exactly. It was an old World War I tank Gewehr, so it was an upscaled Mauser bolt action that somehow he had because he's Ian McCollum.
I mean, I have AR-500 plates. They're not ideal, but they were free for me, so I'm happy to have them.
Yeah, and I mean, it's something to upgrade to over time, but
You know what I use my steel plates for?
Targets.
Fucking physical fitness, dude. I'll put my steel plates on and go for a hike and jogging and running and push-ups and like that's about it.
Dude, I bet you're
and that sucks.
And the fact that they're uncomfortable as fuck just like ingrains it more into your head that
I would never want to be wearing these things in a real combat situation.
yeah. Like you'd be so happy if you actually need to use your ceramics. You're like, oh sweet. You're like, oh man, I remember how bad this was when people weren't shooting it at me. This is like gravy.
Yeah, there's some newer technology in plates that I want to get a couple pairs to test myself before I actually use. But it's layered plastic, so it's a really high density plastic that like each plate is sub 2 pounds. So yeah, they're
changed the game.
They're so light that they'll actually act like a flotation vest, which is ideal. Like if you're doing water-based stuff, you don't want to be dragged to the bottom with steel plates.
I think my ceramic plates I know are positively buoyant.
You tested it?
You must have some good plates.
Have you tested it?
No, honestly, I mean they've gotten wet. They've gotten wet, but I mean, whether they're positively buoyant or not, I have a bunch of other shit on there, so I doubt it's like they're gonna float me like a fucking.
Go do it, man. Go try to swim.
Hey, if it makes you negative, you're good, right?
No.
Negatively buoyant means you sink.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry. Even if it makes you even, like right at zero, like if they're positive and neutral. Sorry.
Yeah, but what about the hydrodynamics, man?
You can't forget about that.
Yeah, you need to be able to swim fast.
I think you mean the damn hydrodynamics.
Sorry, what was that? Bootlickers?
You need to redo your paint job. That
it's
needs
cramps.
to be actually black and yellow. I thought it was black and yellow, and now I'm looking at it, and there's more green and FDEs in there. I need anarchy in that schematic.
I redid it recently, but I redid it for an upcoming match, which is World War III themed.
What upper is that? What do you got there?
So it's a Radian weapons. So they're based out of Oregon, and it's a upper, lower, and handguard combo. So builder set with an A1 stock on and kind of a DMR precision style barrel on
Why
it.
the A1 stock? Is that an aesthetic or is that your preference?
It's both. I think I like the look of fixed stocks, but A1 stocks, I feel like they're a good balance between like a shorter stock that you'd use for more run and gun, and then a longer stock that you use for precision work. It's a good balance between the two, and they're super sturdy. And they're light, and they're like $15-$20. So
I mean, it's literally like a slightly less minimalistic blade, you know. So
yeah,
you know, the functionality, it's there, right?
Yeah, it's a very functional stock, and I'm putting together a precision rifle right now, and I have an A1 stock on that too. I just think it's good and it's not expensive. So if people are looking to save money on a build, I always recommend don't spend.
It's a good way to save some money.
Yeah, because like collapsing
spend money on something that moves.
Yeah, collapsing stocks I've seen them upwards of $100 for certain rifles, and it's not worth it to me.
What about what muzzle device is that?
It's a flash hider. I don't know how familiar you guys are with the Mark 12 rifle.
Yep.
It used an over-the-barrel suppressor, meaning that it would thread on the.
So it's like not a tri-lug, but kind of deal, but it looks like it.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. But then the original Mark 12 came with a really obnoxious muzzle brake, and I don't like muzzle brakes that much. I feel like they don't offer that much advantage in 5.56 because it recoils so light. And it's just unfair. And then also, like, I go shooting with my dad a lot, and it's just not fun to be around, especially unsuppressed. Yeah, they're loud and they kick up a lot of stuff. So I've never put a muzzle brake on any of my guns. I just deal with the recoil.
So are you running a suppressor?
I am about 5 months into my who knows how long waiting period, which kind of sucks.
What did you order? Just 5.56, 300 blackout, 9mm. What'd you get? What do you got?
It's a rifle can that's in 9mm. So it means that I can pretty much throw it on like a MP5 tri-lug all the way down to 223. It seemed like it would be a good one can to kind of do everything while I figure out.
For our listeners' sake, how does that work out? How do you have the same can that works on multiple calibers?
So pretty much what can you can use on a rifle is determined by the hole that's going through the middle of the can, that diameter, and the diameter of the bullet you're putting through it. And so the can that I have is a .375 diameter. So any bullet that is smaller in diameter than .375 is good to go. So a 5.56 is 0.223 inches in diameter. 300 blackout is .300. So both of those work great in the can. And so I only have to pay for one tax stamp, one suppressor, and I get to suppress any rifle that I've got.
And no like physical swap on the hardware. It just integrates.
Yeah, I just have to screw it on, and then it works for what I need. It's not the most durable can, so if I get another one down the line, I'll get something more durable. But
why did you choose to buy a can that was ready to go than a do-it-yourself kit where you do the Form 1 and the paperwork has a tendency to go a lot faster?
The next can I'll do will be a Form 1. I didn't have the time or equipment to put one together because I lived on campus my senior year of college, and I had a pretty busy schedule. I didn't want to throw another thing into the mix. So I just figured I'd buy a can, start the paperwork while I'm at college and I'm doing other stuff. But the next, if I don't get like a dedicated, more durable can for my next one, then I'm going to try and do a Form 1. But probably not one of the solvent trap kits. I'm going to try something else, something 3D printed.
Okay, do you know, let's say you have a solvent trap kit and you get a Form 1 and you blow the thing up or something, or you're just tired of it because it sucks. Can you just cut that thing up and then transfer that serial number to something else?
It depends on where the serial number is, I believe. And I'm not a lawyer, so anyone listening, don't say, well, this guy said it's fine.
Yeah, don't say that.
Free legal advice doesn't count. You're not paying this guy. He's not your attorney.
Yeah, you can't come back on us. Remember that.
But I do know a lot of suppressors that are currently on the market have started moving their serial numbers from like along the side of the suppressor to where it threads onto the muzzle, so that if that can blows up, you just take that serial number band off, make a new baffle stack, and weld that serial number on. So I know a lot of cans that are being made by bigger companies,
and that's fully compliant. Not that we give a fuck about complying.
Yeah. So what you're saying is
that's fully compliant.
Somewhere else, okay.
Yeah, you want to have your numbers right where it threads onto the muzzle device because that's where it's least likely to blow up, pretty much.
But anything after the fact, from a printing standpoint, is a working part or something that's like able to be serviced upon that serial number.
Yeah, anything after the fact is fine. Dead Air sells a can that's pretty much. It's a small can and a large can. It's a small can that has like a thread-on section to the end to make it longer if you're shooting subsonic or supersonic. And you don't have to file for 2 tax stamps. You file for 1 tax stamp and you get pretty much an expandable set. So that if you're building a Form 1, something like that where you've got a thread-on like extension part is maybe worth looking into so you don't have to file so many tax stamps.
Fuck a tax stamp.
Precisely.
All right, so we got that done. Cans, check. Let's talk about this lighting. Let's talk about this lights here. What do you prefer? What's your preferred weapon lighting system?
Well, I have been running only mod lights on all of my guns, except for my handgun because they don't make a pistol light. But all my rifles, and my handheld light have been mod lights, which I highly recommend. They're pretty much the brightest things on the market. They have a couple different head options depending on if you want something that's kind of more of a floodlight or more of a spotlight. But I've got the spotlight version on my handheld and on my rifle.
Anything that's zoomable?
Nothing zoomable, unfortunately.
Why hasn't that happened, dude? There you are, right there, bro. That's what needs to happen to the weapon-mounted lighting systems. Is they need to be zoomable.
I think there's probably 2 reasons for that. One, so I have a big background in photography, and zoom lenses are always less sharp and less crisp than just a fixed zoom length lens. And so if you want to get really good performance out of your light, you want to minimize the pieces of glass that are in front of it. And then the other thing is a lot of times people are mounting their lights close to or beyond the muzzle of their gun. And so, reaching out to zoom it might be
hairy.
Yeah, it might put your hand in front of the muzzle. But I think it's more the first thing where, you're to put the amount of engineering and equipment into making your light zoomable, you're going to make the head of it heavier and more complex and more expensive. And then you're also going to decrease the quality of the light that you're putting out.
I don't know, man. My son's got this little fucking LED flashlight that I bought him off Amazon for like less than $50. That's zoomable. And he's had that thing for a couple of years now, and he's fucking 8. So it's not like he's easy on that shit. He's throwing it, dropping it. You know, and I think that I think that technology would be, I mean, on my sub gun for QCB kind of things, like I would love to be able to switch that thing from a flood to no, I want to focus in on your ass at 100 yards.
Hey, you want to say hey to my brother-in-law? He's in law school.
What up, law school brother-in-law?
How are you?
They're saying, how are you?
Oh, I'm good. How are you guys?
Good.
Good.
Hello.
Good.
It's good.
It's good. Word.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for joining us,
My pleasure.
buddy.
Buddy.
Well, then,
buddy.
if it's already out there on like $50 Amazon flashlights, it probably might be on the way. But I think people reaching out in front of their muzzle might, it might be a little hairy, but if you know what you're doing and if you're using guns in a fighting manner, you should kind of know what you're doing. Then I don't see why not.
I don't think it's going to be something that you're going to be adjusting on the fly. It's going to be like, yo, this is where I want this now. I want wide lighting, or no, there's something out there 50 plus yards. I want to see it out there.
Yeah. One thing I have noticed with the mod light that I run, which is the more spotlight version, is that it still offers a decent amount of spill. But like I've been out hiking probably like, after the sun goes down and it's pretty dark out, and I've been able to, using the flashlight, identify people at 200-300 yards that I wouldn't have been able to see otherwise, but then also just use it and be able to see the full width of the trail that I'm on and into the trees a little bit on both sides. So there's definitely options if you want something that has both, but it kind of just compromises at both, unfortunately.
Oh, that's like in everything, in guns, boats.
Yeah. Or just get nods.
There's no perfect. There's no one for everything. You have to find something that's like, it touches on a acceptable level of all the things that you're going to do, and that's what you go for.
Yep. Or you could get nods, but that's a little bit more expensive solution.
But probably the best solution.
Yeah, I had nods for about a month. Then I sold it to pay for some other stuff, and I'm regretting selling it.
What did you have?
I just had a little handheld. It's the Envis M703, so it's kind of a entry-level monocular handheld unit, and it was sweet. But I sold it because I got a good offer on it, and I needed to pay for some other stuff with COVID happening. So it was just sitting there. So
we've been there. We've all been there. What would you recommend?
Nods. If you want something handheld, the Envis is a great unit. And you can usually get them for between $1,000 and $1,500. So while it's expensive, it's the price of a good like BCM rifle or something. It's not ludicrously priced. Jumping up from there, I'd almost skip a PVS 14 and save up just a little bit more money, because if you look around, if you follow some accounts on Instagram, Nightcrawler, Tech, Goon and Gear, a couple of those guys, they'll post deals on used binoculars. And that's, I think, the way to go is a binocular. It gives you like better peripheral vision, and it gets you the ability to have like depth perception, which is really, really nice to have at night. So you aren't tripping over your own feet and stuff. But yeah, and then if you've got $40,000 to spend, you can get the quad nods that everyone uses in their Photoshop meme templates. But they're $40,000.
I'm gonna do it now. I'll buy another rental property.
Although I do know someone who may or may not be getting quad nod soon. It's not me, but if you follow, I'm sure if you guys all follow some big instructors and in the business. One of them might be getting quad nods.
Interesting.
I've had the chance to
Nods
look
seem
through.
like to be like the rim of car performance. Like it doesn't make your shit any faster, but everyone has to have them. And I'm not saying nods don't fucking improve performance and whatever, but
Yeah, I actually did feel the same way until I looked through it the first time, and then
Man, it's a whole new world.
yeah, it's like I wasn't able to see these 8 hours of the day, and now I can. It's a little bit like if you got, close to 20/20 but not perfectly 20/20 vision. It's like contacts. You don't really need it, but once you put them in, it's like, wow, this is actually really nice.
And even if like I'm not advocating buying subpar shit, but like if that's the perspective on it, like you don't have to like check out some wildly exotic set. Like you use something for $500 to $1,500 in a setting, and you recognize what that brings you. And there's a lot of value there, dude. There's a lot of value there. Like it's pretty crazy. My dad's got a couple setups on some of his crossbows and some of his like FUD kind of shit. And looking through it, it's literally night and day, and his shit's not even that great. So
yeah, and then like there's also thermals, which a lot of times low level thermals, which are comparable to low level night vision, are available for a lot cheaper. Including like if you've got an iPhone, there's a case that has a thermal camera on it, and you can get that thing for like $400. And just like, it's not as all around useful as night vision in my opinion, but just having it is such a nice thing to have.
where do we go from here?
What's your opinion on pimento cheese, Drew?
It's good.
Is that all you have to say?
I'm not really a cheese connoisseur.
What? Get out.
I know. Okay.
Wait, does that mean you don't like cheese?
No, it just means that I don't pay particular attention, I guess, to the type of cheese. It's just like I know in general, like,
do you like American cheese?
Not really, but it's just kind of bland.
Yeah, I don't like American cheese either.
American cheese,
I'm not a fan.
There's no better cheese for a fucking omelet than American cheese.
Yeah, cheddar.
That's to be debated.
Well, about the
debatable.
Smoked.
Yeah, I do not like American cheese in an omelet, my guy.
I don't mean like fancy pants omelet. I mean like good old fashioned farm omelet. Like
no,
a little bit of ham, a little bit of cheese, maybe like a pepper or some shit, and you're in there.
Yeah.
Like, American cheese, dude, it gets all gooey.
I don't know.
I don't know if I can agree with you on that one.
Well, you're eating the
Dude,
wrong
like
one.
I think you have like a normal opinion, and somehow you're with a bunch of weirdos that are all like, no. Like you're with
American cheese is good for grilled cheese.
Yeah,
I don't even think that.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm not talking.
I don't even think
shit.
that.
No, you're not gourmet shit. Like grilled cheese on like good old ham, egg, and cheese, or like.
You know what? If I'm gonna take the effort to make
Moons
it,
over my hammock.
I want to put a good cheese on there.
I'm with that, yeah.
Some of them don't melt properly though. Like you can't get a good sharp cheddar to melt. Like you can.
Well, you ain't doing
False.
it right.
No.
False.
Well, the great thing
I expected so much more of you, Graham.
No, they don't melt the same, dude.
I'm disappointed.
They don't. You're right about that, but
They
I
don't look the
prefer
same.
the
But
consistency
American
of,
cheese melts the
cheddar.
way it melts because it's not actually fucking cheese.
I'm thinking that's the real meaning of the NAP is the no American principle. No American cheese.
I'm not thinking like American cheese, like processed craft. Like
That's
American
what it
cheese
is.
to me.
No,
it's
yeah.
not.
I'm
No, it's
against
not.
real American cheese too. Like I'm totally against the shit in the fucking little plastic slices. My wife loves it. I use her first name to describe it. It's her cheese.
Yeah.
I won't touch the shit, but like, and then I'll buy like good American cheese, and she doesn't even want to touch that, and then I don't want to touch it because it's fucking American cheese. It sucks.
All right. Well, we'll just leave it at that. Well, I'll be the minority. I don't mind. I'll eat all that American.
More for you.
Yeah, I mean, I'll eat it, but not first
If
choice.
you give me a cheeseburger with it on,
I would try to not eat it. Like if you're at like a neighborhood cookout and somebody puts American cheese on a burger, I'm not going to be like, what the fuck is this? You scrub. But if I was going to have a neighborhood cookout, I would go ahead and buy real cheese.
oh yeah, I don't buy that fucking. Oh yeah, no way. Damn. That's how it ends this.
Anyway, so that was the Drew Hopkins guest episode.
Guns and snacks.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, man.